My name is Dr. Leslie Rogers, and this is Mental Health Talk. And today's session is going to be a little bit different from prior sessions. This time we're going to set the stage. This month is celebrating Women's History Month, and we're going to set the stage by talking about mental health talk, to tell you guys what that's about. And guess what? To talk about me. To talk about me. Today I decided to, on this particular episode, since we're transitioning from Food for Thought Thursdays to mental health, tonight I thought about it would be a good idea to talk about me and to give you guys an idea about who I am, Dr. Leslie Rogers. So let's get started. So when I was thinking about this show, 3 words came to mind. 3 words: inspiration, empowerment, and commitment. Inspiration, empowerment, and commitment. Inspiration by being inspired by others through their stories of resilience. Empowerment, being able to be empowered over our own lives. Empowerment, being empowered by hearing the stories of others to keep us empowered and get us on the trajectory of our lives that we foresee us being. And commitment, being able to commit through goals, aspirations, being able to commit. And that's my life in a nutshell. Inspiration, empowerment, and commitment is my life. First, I'm going to go into what mental health talk is. Several persons have become members of Mental Health Talk, and I hear people saying, Leslie, what is Mental Health Talk all about? What is Mental Health Talk all about? So let's talk about it. Mental Health Talk is an American-based web television series with its mission to create ongoing dialogue around mental health, create awareness, destigmatize mental health through ongoing dialogue. Let's just talk about it. Real talk about mental health. And that's the mission, to create ongoing dialogue around mental health. That's basically my mission when I created Mental Health Talk. Who am I, you might say? Who are you? My name is Dr. Leslie Rogers. I have a doctorate degree in clinical psychology. I graduated in 2019 with a doctorate degree. I completed 25 years with the Federal Bureau of Investigation as an intelligence analyst. Then I left the Bureau to finish an internship to become a doctor. How crazy is that? I just quit my job. But I left the Bureau to complete an internship finish my doctorate program. And then I went on to work for the Veterans Administration as a psychologist for 2 years for a postdoc assignment. And now here I am today, the host of Mental Health Talk. Let me tell you guys, none of that was easy. None of it was easy. And I wrote down a quote from Lionel Richie last week. I posted it on Facebook, and I'm going to read that quote because that's my life too. Every once in a while, life happens, and then you figure, how do I get out of this situation? And God provides a crack in the wall. That crack is just big enough for you to get through. Let me read that again. Every once in a while, life happens, and then you figure, how do I get out of this situation? Then God provides a crack in the wall. That crack is just enough for you to get through. And I wonder if any of you have ever felt that way. Like life happens and you wonder, how on earth am I going to get out of this? How am I going to be successful? Life happens and it gets in your way and you think, I'm never going to be successful. Life happens and it gets in the way and you think, I'm never going to go to school. I'm never going to get a college degree. Life happens. And then you think, how on earth am I going to get through this? Right? Hi, Dr. Hans, how are you? You think, how on earth am I going to get through this? Let me tell you, life happens, and sometimes you have to be creative in how you maneuver around life. Sometimes you have to be creative in how you maneuver around life. And this is why it's so important to celebrate Women's History Month. This is why it's so important to celebrate Women's History Month, because guess what? We are history. We as women are history. And this is my life. My life is going from being a single parent to getting my bachelor's degree as a single parent, to getting a master's degree as a single parent and then getting a doctorate degree as a single parent while going through struggles, while overcoming obstacles that wasn't easy. So being able to, again, I'm going to repeat this, inspiration, empowerment, and commitment, inspiration, empowerment, and commitment, because that was my quotes that I had to write and put up on the wall so that I could be motivated to move forward. Motivated to move forward in a direction that I foresee myself going. So that's Dr. Rogers. That's Dr. Leslie Rogers. So what I want to do is change a little bit. How are you doing? Thank you. What I want to do is change up a little bit because I want to tell you guys about mental health talk. And tell you guys about the transition that I am going from Food for Doc Thursdays with Dr. Rogers to Mental Health Talk. Starting the 25th is going to be the first episode, TV episode, and I am so excited, so excited. I have 13 series that are going to go through starting in April, 13 series. But let me tell you guys what's going on for the month of March, because I am so excited, guys. Let me tell you, this little old girl from Washington, D.C. decided to put a TV show together. And now so many people are trying to be on this, are contacting me about being on the show and telling their stories. And I'm so excited about it. So let me tell you guys really quick about the lineup we have for March. So in March, I wrote my little notes down here. For March, we have J. Paul Nadeau. He's a former police detective, hostage negotiator, and international peacekeeper. He's the author of two books. Take Control of Your Life, and Damn It, Just Ask. It's his second book. Awesome title. That's on the 11th, next week at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On the 18th, we're going to have Antoine Chooky Caldwell, who's a multi-instrumentalist, composer, and producer and engineer. He's going to be on talking about how this COVID thing has impacted his life and how as a musician, he has to be a bit creative as well, right? Awesome musician, awesome. He's played for Brian McKnight and other celebrities in the past, and I can't wait to have him on. That's March 18th. On March 25th, guys, March 25th is Women's History Month. We are celebrating Women's History Month, March 25th. And I am so excited with this lineup of women that we have. So excited. I'm trying to find where I wrote this information down at. We have, here it goes. So we have Gina V. Hawkins, Chief of Police in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Jennifer Rogers, founder and CEO of National Association of Women's Prison Reform, Rise Up Media Group, and Ruth Sanctuary, Inc. Jennifer Love, who is Chief Security Officer and Senior Vice President of Safety, Environment, and Health for Royal Caribbean Group. And last but not least, my girl, my best friend, C. Michelle Bryan, Deputy Director for Resource Management and Federal Protective Service. So we have a lot going on this month. And guys, next month, I don't know if I should tell y'all this, but I'm going to let a secret out, guys. Next month, on April 15th, Ronald Winky Wright. Ronald Winky Wright is going to be on Mental Health Talk, talking about mental health. Former professional boxer and two-time light middleweight boxing champion who remains the last to hold the undisputed title to this date, Ronald Winky Wright. He's going to be on here on April 15th. So I have so much going on between this month and next month. And then we have a total list of, episodes that's coming forward, bullying, part 1 and part 2, the perspective from the bully and the perspective from the victim. Oftentimes when we see information and we see shows, it's talking about the victim themselves. But I want to hear about the background of the bully. What is the bully going through when he or she decides to bully someone? What are they going through? So that's going to be an awesome show. Another show is going to be Mental Health in Me. I just think that's a powerful title, Mental Health in Me, right? How has mental health impacted you personally or vicariously through others, right? As we have so many hats that we wear. Oftentimes, as caregivers, I'm a caregiver, right? Difficult as being a caregiver, as being a spouse, a partner, siblings, children. We have a lot of roles to fulfill as, people. And I think it's a great idea to hear from those perspectives as to how you overcome and how you get through. Mental health talk is about inspiration, and it is about empowering you to be empowered over your life. And that's the goal of mental health, through inspiration, through hearing stories of other people. Like myself, growing up growing up and making things happen as a single parent. I remember I hear a lot of people say, I can't do this because I'm a single parent. But that's when you get in your head and you start to avoid because you think you can't. You know what? Let's go right into it. Imposter syndrome and self-sabotage. Let's do it, Leslie. Let's talk about it. Imposter syndrome. I'm going to define it for you, and I want you guys to think about, have you experienced this before? Imposter syndrome is a corporate term that is defined as doubting your own abilities, feeling like you're a fraud, and finding it difficult to accept your accomplishments. Oh my gosh, that's me. I've been there. Doubting your abilities, especially when you're in front of other people, in front of other people. Let me give you an example. A new psychologist, right, just out of school in 2019, go work for the VA, and a colleague of mine was leaving and asked me to step in for her as a team lead, interdisciplinary team lead, right? Talk about self-sabotage and imposter syndrome. The first thing that automatic thought that came to my mind was, Leslie, how are you going to go and tell seasoned psychiatrists and mental health professionals and medical professionals, how are you going to go and give them advice? How are you going to do that? I was in my head before they even gave me a chance. But it wasn't until I led that team that I realized, wow, I can do this, and I'm damn good at it. So being able to think about how we interfere with our own growth and development, and being able to maneuver around and be creative and empowering ourselves to go forward. Thank you. Let's say hi. Let's see who's here. Miss Michelle Bryan. See Michelle Bryan. Y'all got to be here to see her on celebrating Women's History Month. Let's see. Life happens. Remember, this is about Vince. Life happens. Remember, every day is a new day, an opportunity for someone or something to come your way to improve your life if you're open to receive. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, when we talk about imposter syndrome, we block those messages that come in from other people because we're so much in our own head. We block those messages. We block them. Right. So being able to understand you first, right, to being able to recognize what we experience and how we feel about ourselves before we understand how we feel about others or the world as a larger context. Right. Exactly. Everyone needs advice. You are absolutely right, Vince. Everyone needs advice. And again, it's inspiration through hearing other people's stories to see that, a lot of us struggle. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter if we're psychologists. It doesn't matter if we're executives, people in executive level positions. And you will see that on the 25th when you show up to the show with 4 awesome women celebrating Women's History Month. You will see it doesn't even matter how far up the ladder you are. Life happens, and we have to determine how empowered we are to kind of maneuver around what happens. Have you ever felt like a ton of bricks was falling on you, and every time a brick fall, another brick fall? Every time a boulder fall, another boulder fall? Every time you try to push off one, push it off, they keep falling, and all you can do is just cry, right? So being able to recognize that, life is life. And that's why I said I want to be able to destigmatize mental health, because life is life. We go through life and we go through issues, but it's when it causes a significant distress in your life that maybe we need to think about other sources like therapy. being able to think about that. Let's see. Yes, absolutely. And being able to recognize that and knowing it's okay. My goal is being able to normalize these experiences about what we go through as women, because this is Women's History Month. So let me talk about this really quickly. Women's History Month, being able to talk about the interconnections that we have as women, as mothers, sisters, wives, partners, right? Being able to recognize our roles, our many hats that we wear, right? And being able to take off some of those hats without feeling like I'm selfish, right? And so, for instance, self-care, being able to engage in self-care as women and not feeling selfish about doing it. Let me say that again. Being able to engage in self-care without being selfish about doing it. Right? Women's History Month. We are history. As women, we are history. We have evolved over many, many years from traditional women to independent, self-sufficient. What else? Come on, Michelle, where are you? We have evolved, right? And we have, and let me tell you, one thing that I've said for Women's History Month, one thing about women, when we realize how unique we are and how powerful we are, oh my gosh, that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. When we realize how powerful we are and how unique we are and that we can make things happen, move out the way. That's all she wrote, right? So let's see. So Vince, I remember when bricks would begin to fall, I would get stressed. Then I decided to use the fallen bricks as my foundation to build me up. I've learned to look for something good in everything. Now I will stop talking. Listen, let me tell you, life happens. And let me tell you, I'm not immune from it either, Vince. I had to take Michelle Bryan on here. See, Michelle Bryan is on here now to tell me, with recent life transitions, Leslie, you need to get up. You need to get up and turn it around and make something good out of that worst situation that has happened, right? And being able, and that, that's actually called cognitive restructuring in the therapy world. Being able to restructure those negative thoughts and replace them with positive thoughts, or replace them with being able to navigate, as I said, I use that word, being able to navigate around those negative experiences and implement experiences in there to help you develop and move on. Being able to change negative situations and making it positive, which is what Vince just saying. Being able to change negative situations and make it, for instance, COVID. I was supposed to start this show last year. And because of imposter syndrome that we just talked about, I kept saying, oh, it's COVID, I can never start. It's COVID, I'll start next month. But this year was the year. If I didn't start it this year, I wasn't going to do it, right? That was because I was afraid of myself. That's because I didn't believe in myself, right? So being able to recognize when you don't believe in yourself and when you're stuck and when you're in your own way. Being able to recognize, okay, I need to get out of my own head and I need to make things happen, right? Because if I don't make things happen, nobody else can make it happen, right? So believing in yourself, learning how to believe in yourself and trusting yourself, and learning how to love yourself. Learning how to love yourself. Many times we look for love from other people, but when we think about it, it's about loving ourselves first, then everything else will follow, right? So I thought that this was a great discussion to come on here and talk about this evening because of Women's History Month, and being able to give you guys an outlet. That's what mental health talk is, to create a platform to allow honest discussions. Not Hollywood. If you want Hollywood, that's not it, guys. It's not Hollywood. It's being able to have real discussions, real talk about how real people struggle and how real people go through life and how we are resilient. We are resilient. How we as people are resilient, especially women. We as women are resilient women. I take that I'm going to accept that because I think that I am resilient. I'm able to bounce back. I go through things and I struggle. I even lay in my bed and cry at night, get up in the morning and cry. But then there comes a time that I just jump up and say, the heck with this. Okay, it's done. I'm done crying now. What are you going to do now? Right? So let me ask you guys, when you think about, and again, we're on the theme of opening up the doors for Women History Month, right? Celebrating women. Again, my show, Women Celebrating Women's History Month, is on March 25th at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a list for women who are powerful and awesome, and they're just going to take their hats off and talk real with you all, right? Honest and real, become vulnerable, if you will, right? So I can't wait. Women's History Month. How have you all dealt with struggles as women? Struggles as women. How have you all dealt with that? Especially being spouses, caregivers, mothers. What are coping skills that you guys have in place? Anyone? What are coping skills that you all have in place? I'll tell you, my coping skill is I'll get in my car and drive somewhere. Over the weekend, I drove to Myrtle Beach just to drive. If I stay in the house, that's when I feel like all the emotions just come down sometimes. Sometimes you just can't stop it. Hey, remember I posted on Facebook, it's okay to fall apart sometime. Tacos fall apart all the time and we love them. Right? It's okay to fall apart sometimes. It's okay. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I fall apart sometimes. What about you all? What are coping skills that you have in place so somebody else can see if your coping strategies can help them out? Coping strategies for me is to watch something that makes me laugh, such as I downloaded Disney Plus. Instead of watching movies that are so deep, I like horror movies, guys, but instead of watching deep movies, I downloaded Disney Plus. And I think I've watched every Disney movie on there just to kind of, as a support system, to lift my spirits up, right? Let me see. Survival mode kicks in. Absolutely. Yeah, especially when you're in situations where you feel like you don't have control. Absolutely. Let me see. I go into a large closet and sit for a while. Let me tell you, if you have to go into a large closet and sit for a while, then do that. Absolutely. What other coping skills do you have out there that you all listen to music? Yeah, listen to music. Listen to music that brighten your mood, right? Sometimes we need to have something in our lives to help brighten our mood. Brighten our mood. Music, upbeat music. I had somebody say last week that she turns on R&B music or music that she just gets up and dance, right? To kind of get your mind into another place, right? Let me see. So absolutely. So that's what mental health talk is about. Mental health talk is about having guests come on and talk about, the struggles that they've gone through and how they've overcome. Because sometimes overcoming is difficult. And again, I am inspired, Dr. Leslie Rogers, I am inspired by hearing other people, by seeing other people that may have similar experiences or different experiences, similar experiences to mine, overcome. What do they do to overcome? Meditation. Oh my gosh, yes. Meditation. Relaxation techniques. Absolutely. Research shows that meditation and relaxation contributes to reduced anxiety and improved mood. Reduced anxiety, meditation and relaxation techniques. Absolutely. I do also listen to meditation and relaxation techniques. My go-to is Sarah Raymond, Mindful Movement. I always bring her up. I need to call her and be an influencer for her. Because I always talk about her. Sarah Raymond, Mindful Movement. She is awesome. Sometimes when I get anxious, I have a difficult time sleeping. I can't sleep at night. I won't fall asleep. And by the time I fall asleep, it's like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So, and I know that it's because I'm anxious. A lot is going on. My mother is recovering from COVID, which was very anxiety provoking, very anxiety, because statistically, she should not have survived, statistically. But guess what? She received her second negative COVID test, and she's doing much better. I saw her today. She looked so beautiful. So anxiety. Have you guys ever experienced when you become anxiety where you can't sleep? You can't sleep. You're up all night, right? So mindful movement is a go-to for me, where I turn it on and it puts me right to sleep. Every single time it puts me to sleep. Sarah Raymond, mindful movement. Yes. So this is to say that I hope that my story has inspired some of you, as of your stories. Some of your stories have inspired me. And I hope that Mental Health Talk TV show that is upcoming will continue to inspire you to think differently, inspire you to be motivated, inspire you to take control over your life and own what you want to do. Own it. Set goals, concrete goals, set them, and then figure out what goals you want to accomplish and go for it. Go for it. Nothing gets in the way but you. And I'm going to repeat that because I've got my way a lot of times. Nothing gets in the way but you, right? And you're going to hear from these ladies on the 25th that, although things tried to get in their way, they were able to overcome. They were able to overcome, right? And although, and I will say about me too, although things continue to get in my way, I will continue to overcome. Because you know what? Because we are history. As women, we are history. And that's my theme word. I love it. When you guys walk around, I want you guys to say, when you guys are struggling and going through your thing, right? I want you to say to yourself, you know what? I am resilient. I am resilient. I am a unique being. And I am a badass woman. Say it. I am badass. I get that from my girlfriend, Kelly. Say it and then push forward, because you know what? We are history and we will always make history. So I cannot wait to this show. Woo! On the 25th. It's going to be powerful, guys. Powerful, right? Let me tell you who's going to be here again. The chief of police from Fayetteville, North Carolina. She's a guest. I have to get my, because I want to read their titles out again. The guests are Gina V. Hawkins, Chief of Police, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Jennifer Rogers, founder and CEO of National Association of Prison Reform, Rise Up Group, and Ruth Sanctuary. Jennifer Love, Chief Security Officer and Senior Vice President of Safety and Environment and Health, Royal Caribbean Group. I'm so jealous of you, Jennifer, girl. You need to get me on a cruise. And C. Michelle Bryan, who is my best friend and longtime friend who I look up to. Deputy Director for Resource Management, Federal Protective Services. Y'all, did I already tell y'all that this show is going to be good? March 25th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So as we wind down, again, I told you guys that this was going to be a short session. I am transitioning from Food for Thought Thursdays with Dr. Rogers to Mental Health Talk, my new TV web series. And so we have a lot of content that we're going to go through. Hey, I almost forgot to say, if you guys have any suggestions or anything of interest that you want to talk about, let me know. Again, I saw someone on here talk about that they thought bullying was a good content to go over. Again, I'm going to have an episode with bullying, part 1 and part 2, from the perspective of the victim and from the perspective of the bully, right? I have another episode, Mental Health and Me, right? Talking about how we have been impacted by mental health, personally or vicariously. And see this long list? My long list of episodes that I have people for. Oh my gosh, this is going to be powerful. Police brutality. right? This is police brutality, again, part 1 and part 2, from the eyes of the victim and from the perspective of the police officer. Again, and I think that's going to be powerful, from the perspective of the victim and from the perspective of the actual police officer. And we're going to have an officer come on and talk about his experiences with police brutality. Let me tell you, just like we used to say in the VA, if a psychologist mess up, that's everybody. It's not just me, it's everyone. The same with police officers. If one police officer brutalizes someone, then guess what? The entire police force is going to suffer the ramifications. It's not just one. We don't represent one, we represent all. Oh, that's so powerful. We don't represent one, we represent all, right? So I am looking forward to my new TV series. I can't wait, for this thing to kick off. It's going faster than I thought it was going to go, but it's kicking off really quickly. Geraldine, how Black women are sometimes dismissive towards each other. Absolutely, absolutely. How Black women are sometimes dismissive toward each other. And I was just telling someone the other day, Geraldine, I think that we need to support each other more, right? I think that we need to support each other more. We need to work towards lifting each other up more, right? Not being competitive against each other, but working towards lifting each other up, right? As a culture, lifting ech other up. And we're going to actually talk about that on the 25th. We actually are going to talk about that. But being able to find support systems of women that can lift you up, right? I am with a group called Ladies Who Leverage. And that's all we do is lift each other up. You know what? In fact, it's because of Ladies Who Leverage is the reason why I jumped out here on a limb and started this show. I didn't think I could do it. But we need women in our lives that are going to lift us up, not hold us down, right? Would you guys agree with that? So, again, this is Dr. Leslie Rogers, mental health professional and host of Mental Health Talk, American-based web series that is premiering its first episode on March 25th. We're kicking off with Women's History Month. Let's celebrate you, right? We're going to finish out this month with, J. Paul Nadeau, who's an author of 2 books, Take Control of Your Life, and Damn It, Just Ask. I love saying that title. And Anthony Chooky Caldwell, who's a multi-instrumentalist, composer, and producer. And then J. Paul Nadeau is on the 11th. Chooky Caldwell is on the 18th. And then on 25th is Women's History Month show. So I hope that you guys, pass this along, tell your friends, check out the website, because I forgot to tell you guys, and let me tell you guys this before I let you guys go, which is awesome. So I am about to, in working with the VA, I realized that my passion was to continue on that path of helping veterans, right? Continue on that path towards helping veterans reduce symptoms and achieve recovery, acceptance and recovery. Reduce symptoms and achieve acceptance and recovery. That's my mission as well, right? So I put together a organization called Vets Speak, VETS-SPEAK. Vets Speak. You have to go on a website and look at it, read over the mission statement, but in short, it allows veterans to continue on that track of exposure, being exposed through therapeutically to reduce symptoms by telling their stories, going to different venues and telling their stories. A lot of times when I was at the VA and I would be asked, well, Dr. Rogers, because sessions are usually short sessions between 12 and 15 sessions. Dr. Rogers, what next? After the 12, 15 sessions are over, what do I do now? What next? Well, that's where Vet Speaks will come in. It's going to be an awesome program. I'm working with my legal team now to get it up and running. We're going to be hiring for licensed clinical psychologists, contract licensed clinical psychologists to come and travel with the veterans. It is a travel-based program, again, to allow veterans to go to different venues and tell their stories. they have powerful stories that I believe needs to be shared. And while sharing it, it's in line with continuing on exposure therapeutically to reduce symptoms. So I can't wait. I'm just so grateful that I'm able to get out of my head, right? Get out of my head and make my dreams come true. And I hope that this is an experience for you all to get out of your head. Start writing, guys, and make your dreams come true, because you will see that your thoughts are powerful. And once you put them on paper, you can make a lot of things happen, a lot of good things happen. Okay, so I'm going to end it now. I thank you guys all for coming. I will see you guys next week. Next week, 7:00 p.m. for Paul Nadeau. And every week, 7:00 p.m., Michelle Bryan would love to have a photographer on. It's going to be amazing hearing their stories, how they have captured. Absolutely. And Michelle, you're talking about veterans, right? If you're talking about veterans, absolutely. Let me tell you, like I said, we're looking for, my legal team and I are working together, and we're looking for staff now. So a photographer, if you have someone in mind, absolutely. We're in the process of getting everything together now. Veterans are excited about it. I've, did a palette and asked veterans about their thoughts before I wrote up the mission statement and what they wanted to see from the program. So, once veterans join and become members, they're going to be able to tell their stories, and it's just going to be empowering to so many other, not only veterans, because, when you think about PTSD, you often think about a veteran population, but no, it's not just veteran population. We all in some way or another are impacted by, trauma, maybe different experiences. And again, either personally or vicariously. But, it's not just for veterans. So, being able to destigmatize mental health by having veterans tell their story, so other like individuals, whether they're veterans or not, can come and say, you know what? I have similar experiences, and now I don't feel uncomfortable anymore. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to go, be engaged in a trauma-based therapy or some type of therapy, for stabilization, to reach stabilization. So absolutely. Being able to normalize your experiences is all about me. I want to be able to normalize your experiences, my experiences, and our experiences as a whole, so that we can get the treatment that we need. Awesome. Okay, so thank you guys for coming. Like I said, join. My website is www.mentalhealthtalk.live. mentalhealthtalk.live. Please join, subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys, because I'm trying to go network. I also have a Facebook page under Mental Health Talk with Dr. Leslie Rogers. But if you're a part of the, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, then you're going to see the series that's going to come out. You got to subscribe, guys, because you have to see, I have some really good content coming out, and I can't wait. Thank you guys for supporting me. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. And I can't wait to see you next week. Okay. Bye. When you leave, write down your thoughts, guys. Write them down. Write down your thoughts. And know that it's okay to fall apart sometime, but you got to get up. It's okay to fall apart sometime, but you got to get up. Okay. I'll talk to you soon. See you next week, 7:00 p.m. same time.